Carrie Adams, and you're listening to Carrie's Connoisseurs, coming to you from Solid Gold Podcasts. Here we talk to the movers and shakers, the drinkers, the dreamers, and all the people who make it happen in the liquor and luxury industries from around the world. Today I've got a very special treat in store for you. It's a Frenchman for Father's Day. It's Baptiste Grangeon. Did I say that correctly?
Wonderful.
Welcome to Carrie's Connoisseurs, and thank you for coming in. This is the treat that I promised you in one of my newsletters, where Hervé was going to come in and do the second in our sort of little series of learning to speak and drink French. But instead, we got an import from Chateauneuf-du-Pape, and I thought, what better could I give you for Father's Day than 20 minutes, 30 minutes with a real live Frenchman from Provence, you say? I thought you were from Chateauneuf.
Chateauneuf is in Provence.
Well, it is Provence, really.
Actually,
were you born there?
Yeah, I was born there. Next door to Avignon, the city of Pope. You know that?
Yes, I know that. And you are a third generation in your family business. Tell me about it.
Absolutely. So my granddad started in the 50s after the war, so I would say it's kind of a short story from a French point of view. And the vineyards were not from a legacy, just purchasing. And during the 50s and the 60s, we would be able to purchase land. It was a good time, an easy time, I would say. So I run the estate from the last 25 years. I took over in 99 with my brother and my sister. And when we took over the estate, most of the wine was sold in grapes or in bulk, so no any bottle with our brand name. So when we try this lovely juice, it would be a shame not to be able to put in our own bottle with our own label, And so we have launched Domaine Cristia on the 2000 vintage, and today we are trying the 2020, so it's kind of 20 years anniversary.
That's amazing. And you obviously grow, the bulk of it is Grenache, I'm sure, and Syrah.
Yeah, and Mourvèdre.
And Mourvèdre, yes.
Grenache for sure is the main grape, is a king grape of the southern Rhone Valley, and blending with Syrah and Mourvèdre just allow it to get the perfect balance in the tasting,
Domaine de Cristia. Who's Cristia?
It's not my family name at all. It's a small lieu-dit in Chateauneuf-du-Pape, a small area where are located most of my vines.
And so it's the name of an area.
Absolutely.
It wasn't your grandfather falling in love with the girl next door.
No. And by the way, it's not linked to the Christ, to Jesus, because there is no H on Cristia. So Christia.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
It could be fun in Chateauneuf-du-Pape to have a link to the Jesus, but...
Yeah. We could make one up and say that the guy who did it couldn't spell.
Yeah, absolutely. We can try that. Yeah, absolutely.
So explain to my listeners and my viewers, what sets the Rhone apart from, say, Burgundy or the Loire or Bordeaux?
First, I would say, in despite of the soil, the climate. The climate is the main thing. From a South African point of view, we can see France as a small country, but even in France, you have the south and the north. And for us, when you go over Lyon, it's already the north, So,
like wherever it comes from, we don't speak to him.
Yeah.
Hey? He's growing in the dark, you're growing in the sunlight.
Absolutely. It's the reason why you are so tan, And in Southern Rhone, we have a lovely friend, which is a Mistral, which is a terrific wind, but very helpful and healthy for the vineyards. And the other friend is the sun, so we have a pretty warm area, even in the winter time, very sunny and dry, by the way. So it's perfect condition for growing grapes in mature and healthy area. Another point is the soil. So if you go up north to France, like Appellation, you have just noticed, you have some quartz, some schist, some different kind of soil. Yes. It's more or less nothing to do with what we have in Southern Rhone, which most of the vineyards are been fascinated by the Rhone and the sea many years ago. So you have a real base of clay, limestone, and sandy soil. That's the main things,
In the Rhone?
In the Rhone, yeah.
Mm. So what about the story that Grenache and Syrah likes to have gravelly soil? Likes to have gravel, stones. Sometimes when you drive through France, especially in the Rhone, I see big red stones.
These big pebbles have been
Yes.
made by the Rhone and by the Rhone and the sea millions, maybe billions years ago, and the movement of the water just fascinates the roundness of the pebbles, you know. But underneath, underground, you get much more clay, and the clay is also coming from this area. I would say we have not very rich soil because we have not so much water, you know, so that's perfect for the Grenache, which can get beautiful quality when you have decent, reasonable yield. So too much water, too much yield will not allow the Grenache to be as concentrated as we expect, you know.
What kind of yields do you get off your Grenache vineyards, for example?
Officially,
in a good vintage.
Officially, Grenache in Chateauneuf-du-Pape and the rest of the grapes are not supposed to go over 35 hectoliters, so 3,500 liters, which is one of the lowest yields in France.
It's very low.
We fly over 18, 25, 32. It depends on vintage. It depends on the quality of water you get, of the dryness. But usually, yeah, I would say 27, 28 is decent average for Chateauneuf-du-Pape.
So how do you make money?
We don't make money.
Shame. I feel so sorry for you. Is that why you all go fighting and shouting in the street and striking?
No, I mean, you don't want to make too much money in France. It's not a philosophy. I'm kidding, for sure. No.
You have a wonderful lifestyle, though.
Yeah, I think the country is the base of the lifestyle.
It's gorgeous. Who doesn't want to live in France? The food, the wine.
Yeah, I totally agree. Everything is great in our country. So for many reasons, I don't want to leave it, you know. And when I fly over and I come back, I'm very happy to come back in my country, you know.
Yes.
But sometimes you have some issue, like everywhere in the world, you know.
Yes,
but you have a lovely country in South Africa, and I thank God to be able to come there.
This is Baptiste's first time in South Africa. He's never been here before.
And first time in Southern Hemisphere as well.
First time in the Southern Hemisphere. And you like it.
I love it.
And he's come at a time when our rand has just crashed. So he just emptied out his 6-year-old's piggy bank before he left France last week and took his last week's pocket money, I think, and you paid for your whole trip, didn't you?
Absolutely.
So now Father's Day is coming up. And I want you to maybe think about buying something French and red because Father's Day is very close to the winter solstice. Mm-hmm. We're getting right into the middle, the heart of winter in South Africa. And the South Africans love, like everyone, we love to drink red wine when it's cold. So you're going to talk us through. We've got these little glasses each. We've got a little glass each. And you're going to tell my listeners, if they bought a bottle of these, start. I don't know which one you want to start with. All of them are available, guys. You can buy all of them through the Solid Gold online store. I'm just having a look here. Hervé gave me a little thing here. Of pricing, so we'll know exactly how much we're going to be spending on these things. So, what are we going to taste first?
One on the left.
Talk me through it. Tell me what it is and give me a tiny bit.
Okay, so I guess you know about French appellation, but they are very frame, you know, which is the key of the success of our appellation, versus the way you work in the new world, that you can do whatever you do, wherever you do. Yeah. Which is a lovely freedom.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Before I die, I want appellation control in South Africa. You know, it's already happening by itself organically because while you're here, you'll taste. The Cabernet from Stellenbosch is superior to the Cabernet from most other parts of the Cape.
Yes.
The Swartland is producing good Grenache and Chenin Blanc. Franschhoek produces nice Chardonnay. You know, it's starting to tell us where it likes to grow. But we're not stupid. We can test the soils. We know exactly, like you did hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in France, you're only allowed to plant specific grapes in specific areas, and that's what we're talking about appellation control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we start with the Grenache, which is called Vin de Pays. Previously, so now it's IGP, but let's pass on that.
Yeah, it gets too complicated for them. They don't care about that.
And we try a pure Grenache, okay? So this is, as I said previously, the king grape of this area. But what we call the Vin de Pays is out of appellation. So we can almost do what you want. Considering that if you can't plant some Cabernet Sauvignon or some Pinot in Southern Rhone, because
can you blend stuff into that?
You could blend in a kind of vin de table, the very base of the pyramid.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense from a French point of view, okay? We are not used to it. So maybe it could make sense, but we are not used to.
And this, guys, is not expensive wine. This is like 150, 160 Rand bottle of wine, round about there, am I right?
I don't make the currency, but I believe you.
You don't know the currency. Cheers.
Cheers, man. So Grenache, 100% Grenache, 25 years old vines. No oak, all this stem, concrete tank age.
Tank.
Yeah. So
how old did you say the vines are?
25.
Okay.
That's pretty young.
25-year-olds are always nice.
That's pure Grenache, so you have this fruity, jammy flavors on the first note.
Gorgeous. And the palate equals the nose.
Yeah.
So you've got this lovely, sweet, juicy fruit that says, drink me, hey? Really does shout out of the glass saying, drink me. Callum, would you like to have a taste? We're trying to get the sound engineer drunk. He's so strict. He gives me trouble all day, every day. So I'm trying to get him to drink, but he's not. In fact, I think you might be able to teach Callum how to drink. Hey, Cal?
I wish I could. I need to stay a few weeks more.
So, inevitably, the alcohol levels on French wine are generally lower, but I see that these are pretty much the same as what we have, 14.5, hey? 14, 13.5, what is it, 14.5?
Yes, it depends on vintage.
I don't really care about how high the alcohol is, as long as the wine's balanced at the end of the day. And this has got so much fruit to go with the alcohol, hey? And no oak, which is nice.
It's usually linked to the alcohol level and the warmness of the wine, you know.
Gives nice texture and mouthfeel as well, you know. Alcohol's, why else we would be drinking fruit juice otherwise?
No, for sure. I totally agree. And when you have a light wine, you drink more, you know, so at the very end, that's the same. In that case, this wine is kind of daily wine drinking, you know, so I would not say I can have a bottle every day, but it's not so far. And
do you drink a bottle of wine a day?
I used to. Now I have much more responsibility, so slow down.
And you've got to give your children set an example for your children.
Absolutely, you know, so.
Do you think your children, he's got 2 little boys, 6 and 8?
Absolutely.
Are they going to make wine like their daddy?
I don't know. I will let them go wherever they want, but maybe I can drive them and explain them it's beautiful work, and you are doing amazing stuff every day. It's very various. You travel a lot. You meet a lot of lovely people, some strange people as well. But in any case, that's a beautiful life, and so they will decide by themselves.
I think that's one of the wonderful things about the wine industry that I've loved so much, and I've been in the wine industry for 2,000 years. Nobody's older than me in the wine industry. The people you meet in the wine industry really do make a big difference. And it's not just here. It's all over the world. Wherever you travel in the wine industry, you are absolutely bound to meet really, really nice people.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah, for sure. That's the point. That's the magic of the work, you know, because we have visiting like 10 different countries every year, and you meet so crazy people. Crazy in a good way.
You do meet crazy. This is gorgeous, guys. I highly recommend it. It's for under 200 Rand a bottle. It's French. It's gorgeous. It's juicy. It's delicious. It's succulent. I don't know what the weather's going to be like I think Father's Day is the 18th of June, which is pretty much, as I say, close to the depth of winter. It's the winter solstice. It's probably going to be cold. What would we eat with this? What would you recommend they eat with this?
As an entry-level wines, but in a good way, you go with charcuterie, plateau of cheese, you know, or by itself, you know. We usually drink this wine in the summertime, and so you put out of the fridge and just have a glass, and that's it.
It's really nice wine. For those of you who haven't got huge amounts of money to spend on prezzies, it's much nicer than a pair of underpants or socks for Dad or Grandpa. I highly recommend one. Let's finish this because we haven't got a spittoon. Callum didn't give us a spittoon. So we have to finish this. The next time, pour me a little less. It's early morning and I'm drinking red wine.
Okay, so next week I will drink water.
guys, in case you can't see the name. Can they see the name, Carol, from here? It's Domaine Cristia.
Cristia. Yeah.
Cristia. It is. Oh, and there's even that lovely spiciness on the back.
Absolutely.
Palate,
Yeah.
You can't get away from that in Chateauneuf.
No, you have a kind of cinnamon flavors. It's lovely.
I've just got it now. It's so nice. What's the next one?
Number 2 is a Côte du Rhone. Okay, so I know you're familiar with French appellation, but if people looking at us are not, Côte du Rhone is an area in southern Rhone, which is 100,000 hectares. Okay, so it's just a small part of the French vineyards. Considering
1,200 or 102?
101,000.
You sound like Jacob Zuma. You don't know Jacob
first glass
Zuma.
of wine, No, I mean 100,000 hectares. So it's 1,000,000. Okay. As you consider your vineyards down there in South Africa is 90,000. So even Rhone is already bigger than South Africa, and you have to consider all the other appellations. That's huge country. You know that.
Yeah.
So Côte du Rhone is a main.
I think France should have been the biggest country in Europe. I think they could have made it bigger.
Yeah.
It's the best country in Europe.
Yeah, but I think we can push the wall now.
It should have been all France, and we wouldn't have had any of the nonsense that's going on at the moment, hey?
So this Côte du Rhone is framed in all the rules of Côte du Rhone appellation. This is also pure Grenache, okay, on 60 years old vines. And you have to consider that this Côte du Rhone is just on across the road of the border of Chateauneuf-du-Pape. So it's kind of baby Chateauneuf because from our point of view, all the quality of Chateauneuf are in this wine, but not the appellation. So you have a Chateauneuf style for affordable Côte du Rhone price.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's exactly what you want. So do you only use grapes that you have grown? You don't buy grapes in from anybody? For
Domaine Cristia, it's only ours, but grapes. We also have what we call a négoce activity besides, where we purchase grapes or juice, specific appellation. Like, by example, we have not so much white grapes planted on the estate, so I purchase some Viognier, Roussanne, Marsanne from some other neighbor suppliers and make a Cristia collection brand, which is barrel wine.
Yeah, okay. Excuse me, we're all getting colds in South Africa.
No worries. It's lovely winter so far,
Yeah. The days are beautiful, the night times are cold.
And this one has, in the same style as the previous one, but with much more complexity, much more body, much more depth, So you can get a kind of 5, 6, 7 years keeping capacity, as it's already a 2020 vintage. Very approachable wine, but very serious as well. And we had a perfect pairing with ribeye the other night.
Ribeye?
Yeah, it was just the fat of the ribeye.
Did Hervé cook for you?
No, we have been to restaurant every day.
Have you?
Every lunch, every dinner, so.
You must make him cook for you.
Yeah, I can ask.
I make him cook for me sometimes if he comes to my house. French food, French wine. Yeah. This is gorgeous, guys. This is much more serious. I'm sure we're paying much more money for this, hey? Should we look?
Let you make the conversion.
It's not kosher. It's 300 odds brand a bottle. I mean, it's not. Hey, is this a garrigue?
Yes.
Yeah.
The garrigue is the name of the area. And what is a garrigue in French is a very dry land where nothing grows so much but vines or herbe de Provence, like thyme or rosemary. So, and you get this kind of flavors in the wine.
You do get that herbaceousness in the wine, but not horribly so. I'm not big on herbaceous wine. But this is not horribly so herbaceous. It's delicious. And oak, what kind of oak management does it get?
We go with maximum 50% with well-seasoned barrels. We don't want to go with oaky flavors. And for sure, it's mainly French oak. It's
I can't believe this is only Grenache.
Yeah.
It tastes like there's Syrah in there as well.
No.
It's much, it's much more dense than our Grenache.
We are supposed to add some, but we don't, so let's get the expression of the king grape.
Why should you do what you're told to do? You're French.
Yeah, I hope nobody will see this video in France. So I will get a control,
It's delicious. And I don't tell everybody their wine's delicious. Some people get upset because if it's not delicious, I don't say so. But this really is nice wine. I don't want it to be finished.
Maybe I would need a splitter.
You need a spittoon? You could spit into that barrel, but then things could get raucous because we could have spitting competitions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the cellar. Do you do that in France?
It's
So you
not a
can spit the
competition.
furthest?
Yeah, but we can see who one is the best, yeah. But I would say again, we don't practice so much, you know.
We don't either. That is really, really nice. Is it a single vineyard?
Yes.
Wow. For that price, I'm not sure you're going to get a wine of that caliber from many countries in the world for that kind of price.
Yes, I was said, yes.
It's really delicious. What's the next one?
Now we go on the serious wine. Actually, this is...
That's the same as the other little bottle we had, didn't we?
Yeah, actually that's the same, but as this one is open from yesterday night, we could have a double check if we have any doubt. And I will... This is fine, okay. Sometimes the wines are showing better the day after, you know. So
Yeah,
you never
sometimes
know.
they do.
You never know. I don't know how the wine reacts in Southern Hemisphere, you know. So I'm curious to see that. And
they taste very different at high altitudes. Sometimes you can't taste them at all.
For sure, I try those wine almost every day, you know, and they are different from last week when I was in France. And it's the same when I go in United States, and the wine tastes different. Yeah, so I don't know if it's going on the sea.
Do you know that we did one year? There was a panel of us who brought me a tasting of exactly the same wines in an aeroplane.
Yeah.
And down on the ground. Do you know that in an aeroplane you can't really taste anything?
No, most of wine, especially, I
You
never
just don't
travel.
taste anything.
I never travel in business or first, you know. So
Me neither. We work in the wine industry.
Yeah. So you usually go with beer.
Unless I have a very, very wealthy. What if you got a spittoon? Oh, Callum, look, he's got a spittoon. Thank you, darling.
Yeah.
So, unless I have like a very wealthy French wine farm owner, and he flies me somewhere. A few of those. Don't pretend that you don't make money. We know you rich.
Yeah, we are rich of happiness, you know.
That's good. That's the right kind of rich to be. Whew, smells very different. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, so that's now the big boy of the day, you know, the serious wine, the Chateauneuf-du-Pape. So you can see Chateauneuf-du-Pape. So it's one of the oldest appellations in France, one of the first. I mean, like with the frame rules made in 1936, you know. And Chateauneuf-du-Pape, for those who don't know, is a village first. It's a small town of 2,500 people. You know, that's pretty small.
It's a little hill.
Yeah, and absolutely. and it's 3,200 hectares around this village. So you have a border, you have a limit. And I found this comparison yesterday, but you can imagine Chateauneuf-du-Pape in the middle of the Rhone. It's like Lesotho in the middle of South Africa. It's just a point. And
but it's a little sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like you found on a golf club, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you just hit that sweet spot in your golf club and it's like, ping!
Yeah, but it's a lovely place for sure. And everything which is inside the border is Chateauneuf-du-Pape. Everything which is outside is not Chateauneuf-du-Pape for sure. We have specific rules like yield, we talked about previously. The grapes we can use because we are allowed to use only certain grapes. Actually 8 red and 5 whites. But we mainly go...
5 whites. Which are the 5 whites?
Actually, there are 6 of them, you know, because the Grenache can be white and red.
Yes.
So if I go with Grenache, Clairette, Roussanne, Picpoul, Bourboulenc.
Viognier?
No. I would say the Baccarat, but I hope no French people can check that, you know, but, or maybe Picardon. I can't remember, you know, but there are so much.
Picpoul?
Bourboulenc, which is pretty hard to say. And there is the last one, but that nobody used, you know, so it's not familiar. We are not familiar
let's leave that
Okay,
one.
But Grenache, White, Clairette, and Roussanne are the main one. Like when you go with the reds, we can use 8, but the 3 mains are Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre. Yeah. You usually call GSM blend in the New World, you know.
Yeah.
One specificity on my wine that we are growing grapes on the Cristia area, which is a sandy soil area. So like you were talking previously about red clay and big stones, nothing to do with my area. And to make things very easy, the wine you can produce on sandy soil are very gentle compared to the wine made.
Fine,
very fine and gentle tannins as the wine you produce usually on clay and stones are much more bigger, dark, and need to be weighed a little bit to be drunk, okay? Compared to my wine, which is already drinkable, but you still have a keeping capacity of 15, 20 years, easy, if you want to wait.
I've got some old Chateauneuf in my own cellar, and I opened one. They do grow old very gracefully. They're beautiful. And Chateauneuf-du-Pape in many countries outside of France, people think they're smart when they're ordering Chateauneuf-du-Pape. So somehow it became one of the appellations that produced infinitely drinkable wine. And a lot of people, if they don't know anything else, they'll say, oh, you know, sometimes when you're sitting in a French restaurant or an overseas very smart Michelin-starred restaurant and you're looking at this thing and you actually don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We do because we work in the industry, but it's very daunting for people who don't. Chateauneuf-du-Pape springs out and says, buy me.
Yeah.
It's terribly well known. I don't know who marketed it so well in the 16, 17, 1800s. I don't know.
I think that the wine by itself, you know,
it's been wonderfully marketed.
You can't be disappointed by a Chateauneuf-du-Pape. It can be big, it can be light, it can be elegant or more full-bodied, but you will be never disappointed.
No, you never are. And the other thing that I was going to say to you is I'm assuming that you get low yields from these vines as well. For low-yielding vines, the price point on Chateauneuf is just such good value for money. I mean, you can pay 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 rand. We're talking about rands if you're buying some of the top Chateauneufs here. But it's a fraction of what you would be paying for something out of Bordeaux or Burgundy, you know?
We can still increase.
That wasn't an invitation to put your price up.
That's not the goal of the day, you know. But yeah, for sure, we really well with that, you know. So
look at that color. I mean, our sensor in this country is almost translucent. It's almost like Pinot Noir.
Yes.
You can see right through it.
Actually, Grenache can be a little light sometimes, depending on the ripeness of the vintage. So blending with Syrah and Mourvèdre will bring much more body, spice, and dark color. Okay, we don't go with too much of these two other grapes because Grenache is still the base.
Is this pretty much
Grenache
dominated?
75%.
Yeah. Okay. I love the nose. It's gorgeous. You can smell that it's serious.
Yeah.
I think it's a sulky, bad, grumpy man. This one. What do you think?
I think that I can make a comparison with somebody, but in any case, I know the wine by heart for the last 25 years, you know, so.
Yeah. I'm not going to spit it out.
You can.
It's nice.
I have to.
Swallow it. Are you going somewhere after this to taste some more?
We try all day long, you know, so we can play this game.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's very delicious.
Yeah, thank you, man.
So this is 2020, did you
2020, which was, remember the COVID year, you know?
It was a difficult year, but it was a cracker of a vintage, I think.
Yeah, for us, it was absolutely perfect because on this kind of vintage, you have quantity and quality, you know? So, decent yield.
Pays the school fees.
Yeah.
Very nice. What are we paying for this? I better tell everybody what we're going to pay for this. I'm loving doing a French wine tasting on a Friday morning. Guys, these prices, don't hold me to them, but I'm giving you ballpark prices, yeah? This is going to be about 800 Rand a bottle. Which if you consider that some of our not even top wines in South Africa are more than that. This stage of the game.
I mean, there is a question of quantities as well, because that's decent production. That's the main wine we make at Cristia. So I would say that like the spine of the estate, you know, so that's the basic. And we have a few single vineyard selection. And I guess that's the same in the rest of the world. As in Chateauneuf-du-Pape, there is no Grand Cru or Premier Cru like in Burgundy, Bordeaux or Champagne. We do our own vineyard selection like you do guys in the New World, you know. So when you have a specific soil with a specific exposition, all vines, we have some which are 100 years old, some are 115 years old, 115.
It's so gorgeous then. Are they bush vines?
Yeah, absolutely. That's we call it gobelet in French.
Gobelet.
Gobelet. It's like, it looks like a crown, if you want, you know?
Yes.
And for you, it's a kind of bush and small yield, nice exposition, nice aeration, so perfect ripeness, usually high level of alcohol, but
So let's
lovely.
talk about this Rolls Royce, okay? Because this is your Rolls Royce. When I say Rolls Royce, I can see you looking glazed.
I don't know this word.
It's one of your top wines, okay? It's as far as luxury goes. It's very luxurious.
You mean a flagship?
Flagship.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay, I didn't know. I know this word.
Do you have Rolls Royces in France?
No, I didn't know this word. You know, so, no, I keep it, you know. Okay.
So let's talk about the vinification. Well, let's talk about when we pick it. So you harvest in France in September?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. It can come from end of August until the beginning of October, but usually in a normal vintage, I would pick these grapes around the 25th of September, you know. So we want to get the perfect ripeness.
That's quite late. So do you have long, slow ripening? Because sometimes, mind you, there's that Mistral. So does the Mistral blow during harvest time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So it helps to dry the grapes and concentrate the juice, you know. Actually, we can pick the grapes earlier. It depends of what kind of profile we want to give to the wine, but the riper...
So what's your optimum, your best harvest, your best vintage that you could have? Tell my listeners from the day you start checking for ripeness.
I think you won't like my answer because every vintage is perfect. You know?
Stop trying to cop out of it. Just tell us what your favorite harvest would be.
I mean, I'm used with end of September, you know, because when you go after the 25th of September, you can get the rain of the, I don't know the name, you say the tropic of some...
Tropical. Cyclone.
Yeah, the season change, you know, so when you go from...
So tell me now, what kind of bricks do you pick at? What kind of barreling do you pick at? Sugar levels?
We don't look at the sugar levels.
You don't taste?
No,
you just taste them?
We just taste, and when we have the perfect optimum maturity of the tannins, is the reason why sometimes you can have some 14% of alcohol, and sometimes you have 16% of alcohol wine. But you don't care about that at the beginning. It's only a matter of tasting.
Don't tell them, yeah. So you just taste.
We just taste.
And what do you need to taste in that grape? And then you say, let's harvest today.
Yeah. I would say something more next, but the skin and the...
Pips.
Yeah, I don't know the word in English. But you know, sometimes with my previous assistant winemaker, we wine the vines and without trying the grapes, just be in the vines and looking at the balance of the color of the grapes and the color of the leaves. We say, okay, that's ready because you can feel it in the grapes.
You develop a relationship with your vines, don't you? They're almost like people.
Yeah, I know. I don't sing with them for sure.
Do you fight with them?
You're kidding. No, but sometimes I slept inside.
Did you? A winemaker who hasn't slept in amongst his vineyards is not worth anything. Yeah, you got to sleep in your vineyards. You got to sleep in your winery. Sometimes
winery for sure, you know, because some nights are very stressful during the harvest time.
So you fall in love with your grapes. You think today's the day I'm gonna set you free. You cut them all. You take them to the winery
and you wait. That's it. The magic starts itself.
The magic happens in the cellar. So do you do carbonic maceration or do you squeeze or what do you do?
We have a very large way of making, but let's say that on the last wine we made, you keep whole cluster and you do a very gentle vinification.
So you do whole branch pressing.
Yeah. And so you do between 2 weeks and 4 weeks maceration and fermentation. And as you keep stems in some special cuvées, you do very gentle vinification, like pumping over, you know, remontage.
Do you pump over?
Yeah, every day, just to make the grapes a little wet, you know. And then you wait and you try the wine every day until the day you say, okay, now we can take them out and take the free run juice and take the grapes, make the press and see what happens, you know.
So they've been on the skins for sometimes up to 2 weeks, you say?
Yeah, average it's 3 weeks, okay?
Yeah.
Make it easy.
I always thought 15 days was like a magic number.
This one would be 1 week, this one will be 2 weeks, this one will be 3 weeks, and the flagship would be 4 weeks.
And do you inoculate for
yeast?
Fermentation? Do
you mean adding yeast?
Do you add yeast?
Again, there is not an official recipe, so some tanks are yeasted, some are not.
So if they do it by themselves, if they just start fermenting naturally, you just leave them.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And if they don't, then you add a yeast that you're familiar with.
From an enologue point of view, it's not allowed to let the tanks ferment by themselves. But we do like the indigenous. No, it's a joke. I mean that from a school point of view, you have to be much more square. But from our point of view, sometimes indigenous are much qualitative at the very end of the wine. You know, you don't master the profile. You let the wine express by itself.
Yes. So now it's been lying on its skins. It's been dripping slowly. You've been getting this beautiful free run juice. Everything's ready, waiting to go into where? Do you ferment in barrel?
So actually, we ferment in concrete tank, and when we devat, some of the juice goes in the concrete, some goes in oak.
Do you use those eggs?
No. No.
That's a good answer. Yeah. No.
I don't.
They're very popular in South Africa at the moment. People
I think it's very popular every year, so I don't know why people use that. You know, I think I would say it's pretty interesting for white wine.
Yeah.
Especially with the sediments.
It's very good for the whites. They get that lovely minerality on them.
Absolutely, it's about it. Yeah. But we don't make so much white.
For red, I wouldn't put. That was going to be my next question. Anyway, let's finish making this beautiful wine. So now it goes into a tank.
Yes.
And it's going to ferment for how long?
Actually, in theory, the fermentation has already been made, you know. So when you devat, fermentation is over, the alcoholic fermentation. Then you go with the malolactic fermentation, which allows
you allow mallow?
Yeah, because it makes
soft.
Less acidity.
Yeah.
And then once you fill the tank or you fill the barrel, then you can wait until 18, 24, 30 months before saying, okay, now
how long does your mallow go on for? On balance?
When everything okay, I would say 1 week.
Do you stop it if it carries on going?
No, because we need it on the reds. And for the whites, again, it's not very...
The whites you don't want too much, otherwise start getting flabby and cellulite like a big fat lady.
It's good for us to go with the malolactic on the whites.
On the whites?
Yeah.
I like a bit of mallow on the white. I mean, there's something flabby. You know, after you've had too many babies and your bottom gets too big and you need to wear a... You know what I mean?
I'm not sure to catch
Kelly's looking very uncomfortable. We might have to cut this bit out.
I have the image, and that's it.
Are you imagining? Sometimes there's nothing like firm and athletic about it. I sometimes like my white wine to be a little bit more athletic. The red wine, you want it to be soft and gorgeous and plush and luxurious. White needs to be a bit more bracing. What do you think?
I think I understand why you say that, because I've tried a lot of Chenin Blanc in your country, and it's
you know exactly what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sort of all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mallow, and I think that mallow might be doing that.
Are you familiar with white Rhone varietal? White Grenache.
I love them.
Roussanne,
I love them. They're so spicy.
And they are much more depth. They are bigger than what you can drink there. And nothing to do with the Sauvignon, for example.
No.
But much more.
I always used to be so rude about poor Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
But we're making some much better Sauvignon Blancs now. This is gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
We love this. What are we going to eat with this?
Duck.
Duck?
Yeah. You have duck?
How are we going to... We do have duck.
You have turkey.
Well, how are we going to cook that duck?
It can be in many, many ways. There is my way, which is just on barbecue, 2 sides, 4 minutes, boom, boom. My mother way, which is with green pepper. And
green pepper?
Yeah, with green pepper. And most of restaurants, they go with honey, you know, so it's a little sweet and fat.
Honey or honey?
Yeah.
So I thought I heard.
I'm always be careful the way I go.
Yes,
well,
you better
I think
you
understand the bees.
Okay, so we're going to have duck. Yeah, I could have duck. We could have a red wine reduction sauce.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We could pour over it.
Yeah. Maybe you can use this bottle which is open from yesterday. You use this wine, really perfect for the sauce.
Tell my listeners the story about the little coat of arms that makes you sure that you're buying the wine from the right area, hey?
Okay. Actually, this coat of arms is one of various one because we are very French. So instead of having only one, we have 3 of them. So just the story said.
That's a bit greedy.
This one is the main
Is your
one.
family very important?
Yeah, no, I mean, not mine, but just all the vignerons we are in Chateauneuf-du-Pape. But this coat of arms guarantee you that the wine estate bottled, so it's no blend with any others growers around.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can make some blend as a négoce wine, but this one is only estate bottle, so one single family owned.
It's a stamp of quality, isn't it? It's a stamp of longevity and quality. And
French regulation and French frame are good because it's kind of part of the secret of the success of our wines. But sometimes it's quite boring when you see the new world and the way you are.
You know what? There's a place for everything like that. And whilst we can't put the brakes on change and progress, we do have to put the brakes on the speed at which it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been so many brilliant things that were born out of movements that happened over a period of many years. I mean, look at we're living in a world at the moment where the modernists in 1900s were a pain in the ass to everybody. I mean, they really were. They were like our people are now. Cancel this, cancel that, get rid of that. That doesn't work. We want to change this. We want to be a... It didn't take long for the clever people to work out that this was a lot of bollocks. And the postmodernist era was born out of that modernist cancellation. And they took all the stuff that was best and made it better. And there were people who, art, literature, architecture, all those lovely things that came out of the postmodernist era. And we need to do the same with the wine world. We can't allow the revolutionaries to change it altogether. And I love France for putting the brakes on just a bit like that and saying, guys, we're not cutting your wings off. We're just saying go slowly. There's still a place for the way this wine has been made for hundreds and hundreds of years.
I agree, but you can be at the same time pretty open-minded and look at what your neighbors are doing, because France used to be the only one, the unique country of wine many years ago, and now there is a world competition which is crazy amazing, and we have good stuff
but there's
everywhere.
people who are feathering their own nests and pushing their own narrative. Everybody, thank goodness, each and every one of us who put on planet Earth have our own mind. We hope we get to a stage where most of them are educated, but some people like big, bold wine. Some people like shy, retiring wine. You taste some of those French wines next to some of the New World wines that are technically perfect. They're technically perfect, some of those New World wines. They just somehow don't have the elegance, nor the longevity, nor the savouriness that goes into a bottle of beautiful
all the wine I have tried, for sure, you can make some lovely Cabernet and Pinot Noir everywhere in the world. You will never be able to make the Grenache like we do in Chateauneuf-du-Pape. That's true.
Never.
That's true. You can.
And we just need to say, guys, this is a fact. It's the 8th wonder of the world. It just is. We got the recipe. We got the fruit. We got the know-how. That's what it is. Let's just stop trying to change it and just enjoy it. So we've just been enjoying it. Guys, it is amazing. This wine is delicious. It's called Domaine de Cristia. De Cristia.
Yes.
Domaine de Cristia. It's in the solid gold shop. It's not expensive. It's absolutely delicious. We've had Baptiste to talk to us about it. I mean, that's just such a big plus. I've had fun. Did you have fun?
It was lovely. Like the week I just spent in South Africa was amazing.
Had a lovely time.
That's my last day, but maybe not the least.
Are you flying home tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Supposed to go in a reserve tomorrow in a park just to see a couple of animals because...
What park are you going into?
I will be driven by somebody. I must have confidence in.
The park is very far away from here.
No, it's supposed to be like 1 hour drive.
Or maybe he's taking you to the Pilansberg.
I think it's like kind of Rhone and Lions, so I hope it's just next door because I don't want to miss my flight, but it should be fine.
He's taking you to the Pilansberg. Have you ever seen a real Rhino?
No, never. The reason why.
Have you seen a real lion?
Yeah. I'm not scared. I will stay in the car.
Yeah, definitely stay in the car. Your wine is gorgeous. Thank you for coming and spending some time with me.
It was.
Buy some of this for Father's Day and beyond. It's gorgeous. Thank you.
Another production from Solid Gold Podcasts.